All right, so here we are at our digital product menu. And so the purpose of this video and this document is to introduce to you guys something that I want to use over a couple of times as we continue on with our remote learning this year. Um, the one thing that I was getting a little bit frustrated with myself was looking for new ways for you guys to do some different things instead of just always doing notes or always doing guided notes or ed puzzles and things like that. So here's something I came up with. I came up with this digital product menu. All right, and as we use this, I'm going to be using it in different ways. For this first week, this is the optional assignment, the digital product for the moon phases. And this is the optional assignment that if you do it, it gives you a chance to earn more than 80% for your work for this week. If you don't do this assignment, there's no way that you can score higher than 80% for the week's work. All right, so let me go through and just explain how this digital product menu works. Okay, and I'm going to keep kind of referring back to moon phases because that's the one that we're doing. But just kind of keep in mind as you're listening that this is going to be something that we'll come back to over the next couple of weeks. Maybe not every week, but we're definitely going to be using this more than once. All right, so let's start up with the rules. Rules. You cannot use a square twice, okay? You cannot use a square twice. There's a little exception with that you'll see here in a moment, but you cannot use a square twice. Obviously, the point of this is that I want you to use your creativity, okay? I want you to be creative, but also you can't forget the science, okay? I'm going to be looking at the science too. The science needs to be in there. So have fun and be creative with it, but don't be so creative that it loses its focus, and its focus should be on whatever the science topic is that you're making your product for. Each product will include a wow factor points for making it awesome. All right, so that's always part of it. It's not just having the stuff, but I want some, when you're done with these should be, or when I look at them, they should have that wow factor. It doesn't necessarily mean that means you have to work hours and hours and hours on these. For this week, you only have a couple of days to do this, and so I'm not expecting you to spend hours and hours and hours on it. But even without spending that much time, you still can put in the effort to make it look amazing and to have that wow factor instead of it just being done, right? And just the bare minimum. The wow factor is about going a little bit above, all right? And then rule number 4 is that you have to follow the specific requirements in each square. Some of them are requirements, some of them are just ways to use it and what I'm looking for in the different squares, okay? So let's start by going all the way down to the bottom. There's 10 squares, by the way. And at the bottom, here's the one exception to that rule of you cannot use a square more than once. You do have a freebie, okay? And this freebie square here at the bottom is if you choose the freebie, that means you can go back and use another one of these choices for a second time, but that's going to be it, okay? So maybe you love ThingLinks, right? And you do one for moon phases, and then the next time I have you do one of these, you want to do a ThingLink again. So you just say, I'm going to use my freebie and I'm going to do a ThingLink again. That's great, but now you're done with ThingLinks, okay? You've done those twice and you used your freebie, so you can't use your freebie anymore and you can't use ThingLinks anymore. All right, so some of these you're really familiar with, all right? I'm just going to kind of go through each one kind of quickly as we go through the other 9. And then obviously as you work on them, if you have questions, make sure you let me know and email me. All right, so you have an informative video. And that video could be just your voice, like a voiceover over some pictures, or it could be you talking on the camera. It has to be under 4 minutes. No matter what your format is, you got to put some pictures in there somehow. Even if it's a video, you got to get your picture. You got to get some pictures in there. An interview, an expert. And the reason it's expert is because obviously you're quarantined, so you probably aren't talking to a real life expert. Make one up. Be creative. It can be a stuffed animal. It can be your dog. It can be your parents. It can be you with a wig and other clothes on. It doesn't matter, but it needs to be that interview format, okay? You need to create and turn in a script for this one. There needs to be at least 2 different people. It can't be an interview with just one person, okay? So however you want to figure that out, okay? Soundtrap is an option for this. If you haven't used Soundtrap before, Mrs. Unger showed it to me. It's really cool. It's really easy to use. I was trying it out. The directions on how to get into my class for Soundtrack is here under Song. In fact, it's right underneath. So let's go to it. How about making a song? Pick an easy or hard tune to create your own lyrics about a topic. You guys remember the Mr. Parr videos? and how he takes like songs that you've heard on the radio and turns them into science songs. That's pretty hard to do. Maybe you take something like Row, Row, Row Your Boat or Happy Birthday as a tune and you make it into a song, okay? Soundtrap gives you beats, gives you some different little tunes that you can loop over and over that are all in the program. That's really easy to use as well. It even lets you work with and collaborate with other kids. So this is, with this code, you're all in one class of mine on Soundtrap. So if you and a friend want to kind of go through and figure out how you can do something together for that, I will allow that for us all. Okay. For this one, you have to turn in a script because just by chance, it might be hard to hear what your words are, your lyrics are. So I need to know that the science is in there. Let's move to the left here. Video commercial. So it's just like the video. Okay. A lot of the same requirements as you see, except now you must be pretending to sell something or advertise something, whether it's a service or a product or something. It's a commercial. It's not just an informative video. It's a commercial. The format needs to be like a commercial. S'more. Okay, s'mores are really cool digital posters. If you've never used this site, they're really easy to kind of drag and drop and put things in there. Excuse me. There's a link here and a class code that'll get you into my class, and it'll give you access to everything you need. Otherwise, it is not a free site. You won't be able to use it. ThingLink, you guys know, I'm not very familiar with it. So if you choose that, just know that I'm not going to be able to help you that much because I'm not as familiar with it. My voice is, my throat's really dry. I just did all those notes from the moon phase video. Now I'm doing this. Sorry. All right. One of these is use your own idea. I have these things on here. You might be thinking of something completely different. Maybe it's building something. Maybe it's, I don't know, a Quizlet that you can share. I'm open to anything, but you have to get pre-approval. You got to email me what your idea is because I got to make sure that it's something that is going to fit and that it will make sense in terms of, yes, that will be enough work. Okay, that'll be enough work. All right, the old easy Google Slides is on here, okay? And the Google Slides is pretty much the reason why I don't let you do things more than twice, because I don't want you just to keep doing Google Slide presentations. I want you to venture out and try some of these other things because they're pretty cool to do. Creative writing. So this one's maybe not quite as digital as it's more in terms of the language side. And so it's a creative writing, however you want to do it. I gave some examples here. Change the point of view, make up a character, time travel, personify a non-living thing, right? Make the moon alive if you want to. Whatever it makes to make it work for you is fine. It's creative. That's the whole point. Couple of the requirements, 11-point font, double spaced, and it has to have a one-page minimum. So it has to be at least one page long. And then the last one is storyboard that. I know a lot of you use that in 6th grade a bunch with Mr. Link. Here's the link to get into my class, and then you'll have unlimited access. My requirement is that you have to have at least 9 squares. At least 9 squares. The only thing that I get worried about with storyboard that is not only is to make sure that it's that there's science there, because it can kind of really quickly get off base. And so make sure the science is in your storyboard that, okay? And that's true for all of these, okay? Some of them a little bit easier than others, like the song and the video commercial and interview an expert. Make sure you're not getting away from the science. The science is super important, all right? So for this week, pick one of these things to do your project. If there's a way to attach it to Classroom, attach to Classroom, or attach it to an email, or send me a link, or share something with me, however you can to get it to me so that I can grade by next Monday. That's when it's due. And remember, this is the optional part, so you don't have to do this, but if you want to earn an A above 80%, then you got to make sure that you complete this and you get that wow factor in there too. So have fun with this. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.